What would you do if you realize that there really is a God after you die, that there really is a day of judgment after you die, and that you will be accountable for all the things that you've done in this world?
Well, I live my life as if I would be accountable for the things that I've done.
How do you know? How would you judge what is good or what is bad?
I can work it out for myself. Empathy.
But everyone's good and bad is subjective. Don't you believe that?
Have you heard of the principle of golden rule?
Which golden rule?
Oh, it's called a golden rule. There is maybe a couple of versions, a few versions of it. You wouldn't treat people in a way that you wouldn't want to be treated.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Means you generally treat people nicely. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it is as I said it. You treat people in a way that you want to be treated yourself, and also don't treat people in a way that you wouldn't want to be treated.
I mean, that goes without saying, you know. Everybody. Yeah, why not? Because treating people nicely is something that every religion preaches. It's not something that a humanist came up with. So that's what you think.
Some religious people, well no, it predates most religions. This comes from many thousands of years ago.
How old is humanist religion?
Well, as old as the Tibetan religion.
How do you know that? What? Because name me a humanist during the time of, say, Abraham.
I think you could. He was a humanist.
Abraham came much later after Abraham. You see what I mean?
I don't know what.
Exactly. What you're saying is speculation. A humanist, most of the values that the humanist got from is most likely from religion. Yeah? What? No. You name me a humanist during the time of Abraham. Go on. You can't. The reason you can't is because
thousands of years ago, this idea of the golden rule existed thousands of years ago, and it came about.
How many years is thousands of years ago? 2,000, 3,000?
5,000.
Okay, name me a humanist 5,000 years ago. Go on. You cannot, my friend. The reason for that is because, like I said, religions. Listen.
What year was Buddha?
Buddha was just after, I think, probably just after maybe Jesus or something. Around that time. Or maybe 600 years before Jesus. It can't be more than that.
Underestimating. I think you're right.
No, Buddha is not that long ago, trust me. Maybe 600, like I said, maybe 600 years before Jesus. Okay?
The golden rule is, reappears throughout religious history and in non-religious history.
Yeah, how old is the golden rule? Tell me. Exactly. So don't assume things you don't know. Yeah, but when you say humanity, for me that is Adam, during the time of Adam. Okay? And Adam for us as a Muslim and as a Jew, someone who's a Jew and someone who's a Christian, was the first man. And he was instructed by God, which means he got religious instructions how to lead a way of life. And he has to abide by those instructions, and that to me is a religion.
People who have no religious instruction can still recreate this law without any.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a universal, what do you say, unwritten rule and morality. Like, for example, killing is bad, raping is bad, stealing is bad.
So these things don't necessarily come from God.
No, hold on. But one thing you forget is this: human nature is such that if you realize that there is no consequences for your action, then nothing will stop you from taking into account. Really? Are you telling me a humanist never lies? Why is it different? To me, lying is one of the major sins. You see what I mean? And that's why I was telling you earlier, what is good and what is bad are subjective. If you do not have religion as your...
You're not going to always act in a moral way.
I didn't say you'll always act immorally. I'm saying there's nothing as a consequence to someone who doesn't practice a religion to uphold their objective morality, because they don't have objective morality as a base.
The fact that you need a book to know morality, what is right or wrong. How do I know that you yourself?
I don't say I need a book.
Person that knows right from wrong?
I did not say.
You can't work it out. I did not say read it and open the book.
I did not say I need a book to know that lying is bad.
Okay, you work that out for yourself.
What about you? Do you think lying is bad?
Well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, because you can help people by lying.
Yeah. What about if it was just your benefit?
Well, that might be selfish. So,
But do you think that for a humanist, hold on, for a humanist, imagine this, for a humanist, is there any consequence if you lie as a selfish person to get yourself out of trouble? Is there any consequence for that?
Kids learn this from a very early age that they can get away with things. Even like 3, 4 years old, and they'll lie because they know.
Yeah, I know. But would you as a father, would you encourage that for your children?
I used to say up to a father to teach.
To teach what? Not to lie. Yes? But when the father himself says, as long as you don't get away, as long as you get away by lying, then you can. What would you say as a humanist to that person? Would you say it's immoral? Because that's his view.
Situation where it is good to lie.
Yeah, I can't think of any situation where it's good to lie. In fact, as a Muslim, yes, there are situations where, for example, if two people are arguing, yes, and you can reconcile between them by a lie, provided it doesn't harm anyone, but it reconciles them, then that is something which you use as an exception, but not the rule. Yes? Normally the rule is you do not tell a lie. For example, if you, yeah, you can. For example, if somebody wants to, I don't know, there are situations today in India where some of these extremist Hindus are telling Muslims at the edge of a sword or at the edge of a gun, yes, to say, I don't know, say something like some religious words from Hinduism, like say Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, or something like that. Yes, these Muslims are basically now forced to say something against their wishes. Yes, they are told to renounce the religion and to encourage and acknowledge the religion which they are opposed to, in the sense of having more than one God. Now, this is called shirk, one of the greatest sins in Islam. But in the Quran, Allah says that if your life is in danger, then Allah gives you a leeway here as an exception. Yes, that even though you're telling, even though you're under coercion. How are you? So you're under threat to your life. So in that situation, you can tell a lie, but it's a lie which is just basically, it's to protect yourself. But in your heart, you know you're a Muslim. In your heart, you haven't given up your religion. So here, Allah is telling you that your life is more important, and it's given more a higher status in terms of safeguarding your life against someone who is coercing you to say things against your religion, against your will. So these are the two examples I give you. Another example is, for example, if your wife...
Let me give you an example.
Okay, go on.
You know, the electoral polls have been coming out with wrong results for years. People lie about who they vote for. They find that the general public gives people a hard time if they admit they're a conservative. They don't say they're conservative because the public voice.
I mean, that's your right not to say, but this is what I'm saying is that as a humanist, what I'm saying, do you have any consequence? What is the consequence if somebody lies and gets somebody else in trouble? For example, they bear a false witness or false testimony.
Let me say, it's human nature. When you do something you know to be wrong, you feel bad about it.
You feel guilty.
Yeah. So to avoid
but that's not a consequence.
That's not a consequence. People are good because it makes them feel good.
No, but your guilty conscience.
They don't always make
your guilty conscience might disappear eventually.
Yeah, but when it comes
but that person who might be jailed because of your false testimony or your lie is the one who really is suffering because of your lie. So as a humanist, do you have any consequences that has real life consequences other than just
I can become a miserable person, a miserable, bitter person. I don't admit to myself that I've done something.
No, you don't, because you know if somebody...
When the next dilemma comes along, I'll remember how bad I felt because I did whatever. I'm not going to do that again because I felt awful for months and years after I did this thing, so I won't do it again.
Yeah, but
I felt so miserable.
This feeling of
Maybe
yours...
I turned to drink because I did something that was really
so
bad.
This feeling of yours,
I won't do that.
This feeling of yours, the reason you went drinking is because to forget these problems of yours. Am I right? So it's not hypothetical. You just gave me a situation which is very. If you ask me, this happens in the real world. It does. Many people do drink to forget their troubles.
And hopefully people become wiser as they get older and say, well, I'm not going to do that again because I know how bad that made me feel.
So basically, to stop one sin, I would consider lying a sin. You go into another sin, i.e. drinking, which harms your body, which is also a sin. So you see,
you don't have to turn to religion to deal with these issues.
No, I agree. Look, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that there are no humanists who tell the truth most of the time and do not lie. I'm not saying that. There are good people. Whether you're humanist, whether you're an atheist, whether you're agnostic, and whether you're religious or non-religious, there are good and bad people in all the spectrum. Yes. However, the question to you is this: other than feeling guilty, there is no consequences, because as far as I know, that person you gave false testimony against is behind bars. He's the one having to.
Well, I might get found out in the end, you know.
Exactly.
It might be a real
exactly my point. But if you don't get found out, he's the one behind the bars. His family is the one that's going to suffer. If he has children, they're going to suffer. You see how important it is to acknowledge that lying is wrong, and to understand that there is consequences for that. So that's the reason I asked you about the life after death earlier on. That if the life after death is real, what have you prepared for that?
As I said before, I live by life. That's everything I do in it. You're judged.
Judged by whom?
By whoever wishes to judge me.
Whoever meaning what? Afterlife or before life? After death or before?
Regardless.
No, I'm asking. You see, if you
I'm doing as best as I can.
Your answer doesn't.
Whether there's an afterlife or not, I'm living my life as best as I can.
But that's subjective, isn't it? When you say my life as best as I can, yes? So that is subjective. And also the fact that if you do something wrong and you're not found out, whether it's lying or whether it is some other major crime or something like that, there is no consequence for you.
Yes, there is. I've explained the consequence to you, but
if you're found out, I said if you're not found out.
I've already explained that to you.
About a guilty feeling?
Yes, but what you've then said is forget about that.
No, I didn't forget about
and then give me another one. Well, I've already given you the one.
No, I didn't forget about it. What I'm saying is that there are many people who have a guilty conscience when they commit the first, I don't know, when the first crime or offense or a lie or something like that. Yes, but if they become, it becomes a reputation. Yes, if they become compulsive liars, that guilty feeling goes away.
That's in your opinion?
No, it's not my opinion. This is the fact. There are many people who have no guilty conscience. I'm talking about people. No, it's not subjective. There are repeat offenders, and that includes people who are compulsive liars, people who are compulsive pickpockets, who steal a lot. Honestly, those people, if you ask them and you question them, they will give you all sorts of justification for their crimes.
I'm getting very hot here in the sun. I think maybe I need to stand in the shade for a bit.
No problem. If you want, we can move to the shade. But what I'm saying is that there has to be consequences for sins and for the crimes that people commit. And this is only fair in a system where you believe that there is a God and God knows everything. And ultimately, you are going to be accountable in front of God Almighty, because He is the one who can provide the best justice. Because I don't think people like drug barons. Let's move. Guys, can we move to the... Hello, cameraman. Guys, can we move down there?
There is only one way to Almighty God. Through Jesus Christ. Only one way.
Yeah, we just thought we'll come in the shade.
The shade's better. So anyway, we'll stop for now. And maybe we'll talk again.
You want to stop?
Yeah, we'll stop.
No, he wants to stop. That's fine. What's your name, by the way?
Robert.
Robert? Very nice speaking to Robert. But anyway, I mean, do consider looking, because you look like a person with an open mind. Yes? So do consider looking into Islam. I don't know, have you read the Quran?
I got to the... You know this blue book I've seen?
Messi!
Sorry, which one?
The small blue book.
Oh, the blue book, you got that?
I started, I think one of the first pages I came across in that book, it said this is a book for believers, people who believe in God.
No, but why is that? For people who believe in God already, it's easier for them to understand this. But when you look into the book as a whole, okay, then you come to understand about what God expects of you.
I might try again, but that was
I mean,
first obstacle I came across.
Don't judge one. Like they say, don't judge a book by its cover. So maybe you should look into it more holistically before you judge it. Because
give it another chance.
yeah, you should definitely. Because you see, our life is limited in this world. Eventually, look, if we both die and there is nothing after life, there is no afterlife, there is no God, there is no angels, there is no day of judgment, then you and I are not. Well, humanism is a more of a generic term where you say you treat everyone nicely, you treat someone, another human being.
Have you ever looked into it?
Yeah, I mean, generally, because it's basically being nice to everyone.
Because I've generally looked into Islam. I've not specifically read the Quran, but if you go to Humanist, the Humanist website, then they will specifically tell you.
So tell me something that I wouldn't know about humanists, for example. Something that is not common knowledge.
I'm just saying. You told me I should go away and have a look at the Quran. I'm saying.
No, but I'm asking you from your. I'm assuming you have read the humanist website. Can you tell me something from those pages that I, as a person who has not specifically looked into it, give me one example that I wouldn't know.
What I'm saying is that you've asked me to look into Islam. I'm saying I'm asking you to look into humanism.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's reciprocal, isn't it?
Fair enough. I mean, I don't mind looking into it. To be honest, it's not no harm that I can see.
Are you an open? You said, "Oh, I look like an open-minded person." Are you? Would you consider yourself?
Yes, I'm. Why do you think I read the other religious books?
Oh, you do?
Yes, I read the Bible. I've read.
Have you read the Book of Humanism?
I haven't read a particular book, but I'm sure I've read some of their websites and some of the people who talk about humanism. And that's the reason I asked you. Tell me something, as a common man who would want to know about humanism, that maybe I've never heard something from that teaching that you might be able to shed light on.
We did touch on this.
You touched what?
On the sun. It is possible for humans to derive morality from human experience through empathy and understanding all the available evidence that there is to mankind. We can come to ethical decisions.
Yeah, but who decides what is moral in your worldview? Yeah, but you see, look, tell me if this is wrong. At one point in history, slavery was something which was perfectly legal. Colonialism was perfectly legal. Apartheid was completely legal. All this was considered by those people who practice it as moral, and it's perfectly allowed and permissible.
And it's not now, is it? That's progress for you. So that's humans working out.
No, but the same humans, the same people who considered as humanists, at one point considered that to be perfectly legal and okay.
As President Obama said, the arc of history is long.
Say again? The arc of history is long.
Yeah. Things progress.
But it just shows how
when Obama was walking young black school kids around the White House, and they were saying to him how bad the United States was in regards to racism and all sorts of things. And he explained, if you lived in the 18th century, things were much worse then. And he used that phrase, the arc of history is long. At what point in history would you prefer to live?
you know.
And it's the answer.
You know something?
The answer is now.
Do you think now is the best time to live in history?
Probably it'll be in the future.
No. What do you think about now, the 21st century? Even during Obama's era, what do you think? Do you really think Mr. Obama was a perfectly moral person?
No one is a perfectly moral person.
Okay. Do you think he was moral from any angle? He was the president of the United States, the most powerful country in the world, who would actually rain down missiles from far away.
I'm not going to sit in judgment.
No, you don't have to sit in judgment. His own, government, when he was in government, he was the one who sanctioned missiles to rain down on people in Pakistan and in other places with drones. Yes, they might kill maybe one, terrorist, but then at the same time, from the 10 people that were killed, 9 would be completely innocent.
Like Tony Blair did pretty
Yeah,
much similar.
so I wouldn't consider people like Obama to give us lectures on morality, you know?
Or maybe. But I think he might have a point that things have improved.
No, I
in the
don't
United
think so.
States from the
I don't
times of
think so. If you look at
slavery
history,
to today, when a black man can stand in the White
well,
House.
wait, ask the black men in America what they are going through. Ask them how the police are hunting them down just because of their color. Yes, they're being stopped over there. So don't tell me about America and the black people over there. Because if you ask them, yes, you for a white man might be different. You haven't lived their life. You're not in their shoes. But if you actually ask them exactly how they're being treated in the 21st century, you'll have a very different perspective.
What I do know is what answer that Obama got from the black youth, that they would rather live now than at any time in the past.
No, but that's not true. If you look at the past, the weapons of mass destruction are being manufactured today by countries like the United States. Yes? So if you go even during the Roman times,
your opinion, you think those
hold on.
were wrong.
Even during the Roman times, yes, I don't think they had such weapons which would kill and annihilate an entire nation, an entire city like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which were basically millions and thousands of people. Yes, thousands of people were massacred just because some powerful guy sitting in the White House, yes, said we can drop atomic bombs on these two cities. Now wait a minute. Do you believe in history there was such a weapon which would annihilate two entire cities and wipe off every living thing, whether it's an animal or a human or a plant? Yes, every living thing wiped out within minutes. Now you tell me which part of history which would have such weapons. So don't tell me people in the past were less moral and less, what do you say, less
than they were in the past.
No, we can look at history and we can see that things are not getting any better today.
Have you come across an author and professor, Stephen Pinker? He's written a book recently.
What about this one?
Have you come across Stephen Pinker? What's the point? He's very well read, and he writes a book, a very influential book, about the fact that things are better now than they've ever been in human history. And he gives examples.
Well, I just give you an example. I just give you an example where you actually have weapons today which do not even require a person sitting in it, like drones. They might be thousands of miles away in America using a remote control. It is like a video game for them. So don't tell me about morality coming from the United States and from Obama's government.
As I understand it, Genghis Khan killed up to a third of the world's population in the region that he knew. And the point, nuclear power.
And the point is, why did you pick on Genghis Khan? Why not Alexander the Great? Yeah.
Well, you're saying give you an example in history.
But even
so
that
hold on.
Genghis Khan did not do like this within minutes. He did not kill people within minutes. So I'm not. By the way, I would never support people. I would never support a person like Genghis Khan. He was a tyrant, and no doubt about it.
No, I'm not supporting him, but I'm saying he killed.
In history, yes, there have been wars. I'm not denying that.
In the region of the world.
Well, I don't know about a third of the population, but he did rule maybe over a third of the world. His what do you say? His kingdom.
Nuclear devices.
No, I wouldn't say it's much worse. These weapons today are much worse. Yes, because those people did not even have a chance to flee. When the weapons, like certain missiles, are rained down on them, yes, they do not have a chance to flee. When Genghis Khan's army was approaching, they can actually know from other people that the army is approaching. They might not be able to flee very quickly like they can today with our planes and with our what do you say, other means of transportation we have today. But maybe at that time they couldn't flee. But today, those people and those children who have been killed by these weapons controlled from thousands of miles away, yes, they do not even have a chance to flee today. So the weapons today are much worse.
You are right in there is far more potential for destruction using technology.
Not only potential, it has happened, my friend. It is happening as we speak.
Not the same scale as it happened under Genghis Khan.
Well, maybe for you the style might be different. For me the style is worse, if you ask me. The reason for that is because when you're sitting thousands of miles away, or you're raining down bombs from thousands of miles away, they do not see exactly the consequence of their destruction.
When we talk about mass destruction, socialism has an engine for mass destruction. Killed far more people than nuclear weapons has ever.
Say again?
Socialism killed up to 100 million people in the 20th century. That's far more dangerous than any nuclear weapon.
Which socialism?
Socialism as a concept.
During whose reign are you talking about?
All the socialism.
Maybe it's more than us, he knows better. Which can be true. Look, whether it's, doesn't matter which ideology, doesn't matter what ideology you follow, trust me, doesn't matter what ideology you follow, to kill an innocent person is wrong. Do you agree? Yes? Now this is a principle which...
Innocent of what?
Innocent means you cannot convict that person of any crime.
I've heard some people tell me how many people that Islam has killed.
When you say Islam,
in history.
do you mean Islam or Muslims? Because Islam is an ideology,
yes.
Islam is a religion. Yes? You cannot say Islam teaches you not to kill people who are innocent and to kill people who are guilty.
Okay, let's mix it up together.
Killing,
how many people has Islam and Muslims
I don't
between
know.
them killed?
When you say Islam, look,
since
as far as Islam is concerned, the ideology itself doesn't support killing innocent people.
More than any nuclear weapon has ever done.
Oh really? Where did you get the stats from?
I know, someone just told me it.
Someone just told you. Wow, that's very scientific. I thought you're a person who believes in a scientific methodology.
You are well read. You will have heard.
I would challenge that person to prove the claim that he made.
Exactly. So you've heard it.
I don't have exact numbers.
No,
hold on. Just in today, in the 21st century, I can tell you for a fact that I don't think there's any country other than the United States who has killed more people. Today in the 21st century. No country has fought more wars than that country after the independence.
In the 21st. So you're saying forget history.
No, I'm not saying forget history. I gave you history. Yes, I gave you a history from World War I and World War II. Yes? Who are the perpetrators? Were they Muslim countries or non-Muslim countries? Who are the ones, the main perpetrators in that war? There you go. Today, most of the wars that you find in the Middle East are actually imported wars. So these are people who come from abroad and they bring the wars there. Even if there's an internal conflict, they would actually give them support. So the weapons which these people are using during the wars are actually manufactured by people like America and Russia or European countries. So the weapons of mass destruction are actually produced and manufactured by them to be sold for profit to these so-called dictators.
Finish this discussion as we started it, because it started off, for the few viewers now, that I was saying that a friend of Muslim family, who are friends of mine, their 7-year-old son came to me and asked me,
yeah, that's an anecdotal experience.
Why do Jews come in the middle of the night and stab Muslim babies?
I've already answered that question.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, for your viewers, this is how the conversation starts.
I think the viewers know. They're not going to jump to the end of the video, they will know the beginning. But what I'm saying is that do not judge people just by what they say. Sorry, do not judge a religion just by what people say or claim. For a person like you, if you are an open-minded people, you wouldn't read the first page and close the book. I suggest you read it fully and then grasp the ideology.
We'll need to have a discussion again sometime in the future, and I'll try and read the Quran. And you do some read a book on Humanist.
Yes, no problem. All right, take care of. What's your name? Hashim. Yeah. Thank you very much. Just to wrap up quickly, basically, we just want to inform people not to judge a religion based on the people that follow and claim to follow that religion. Because if we did that, then people will say what ISIS is doing is what Islam is, or what KKK are doing, or what people in Central Africa are doing is what Christianity is, or what maybe certain people, the Buddhists are doing in Myanmar, to the people in Burma, or what the Buddhists are. So do not judge the religion by the people who claim to follow that religion. Judge it by the scripture. So if you find something in the scripture which says to go and kill the innocent people, then you ask them the question, why does a religion teach such things? Because if you look at the Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 32, it says very clearly that if anyone kills one man who is innocent without guilt, yes, it is as if you have killed the whole of mankind. And if you save one man, it is as if you have saved the whole of mankind. Now this is the central principle which is taught in Islam. So you cannot just go and kill unnecessarily without a cause, without a reason, someone who is innocent. So we do not believe in what the West today calls as, they use certain euphemisms where they say collateral damage, like when they rain a missile or when they rain from a drone and bomb people and women and children. They say, oh, we killed one terrorist, but then the 9 people who died, they are that's collateral damage. No, it doesn't work like that. You do not kill unnecessarily. Yes, because that doesn't actually bring people and understand your cause. It only creates more enemies for you. Unfortunately, we see this time and time again in history, that when you do not abide by justice, then the person or the people who have been victimized by the injustice, they will want to seek revenge. And this will become a vicious cycle. And this is something that we do not want to happen. So, inshallah, God willing, we look at Islam from the teachings of Islam, from the true teachings of Quran and Hadith, and then we judge, and the same applies to other religions and other faiths as well. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.